In last couple of years, what we have seen that 5G has been the talk of the town, and we have not seen the similar cases when 2G to 3G, 3G to 4G. And why do you think so? Like why it gained so much industry attention?
Sure. Well, Manish, I think what happened was a change in government policy, which happened around the June 2020 timeframe. So spectrum was always the missing ingredient for private 5G networks. The government made it available. So now enterprises as well as government entities like states are starting to take advantage of that. The cellular industry started in 1973. Spectrum only went to a certain number of people for all those years. So that's 50 plus years almost.
Oh.
And in June 2020, the game changed and private cellular became available for enterprises to use. And the government is hoping it will increase productivity and decrease costs for these places. That's why they made that policy decision.
Wow, got it. So in terms of if I think about 5G, I mean, I've been hearing it for some time. In the industry adoption, where do you think it is now, Eric?
Well, I think, Manish, you probably have to segment private 5G networks and public 5G networks. Typically, the CSPs and the telco carriers came out with 5G for the consumer. The private networks are really geared towards the enterprise. And 5G is just a long derivative of LTE Advanced. So there are many waves of cellular, started with 1G, moved to LTE Advanced, and then moved to 5G. So if you look at the 3GPP protocols, it's a standard cellular connectivity that's been in place since 1998 globally. You can see a roadmap on what's happening today, what's happening 2 years from now, what's happening 5 years from now. So the cellular industry's done a great job of putting a standardized roadmap together to be used for this cellular connectivity.
Got you. And you brought up this interesting point about private 5G and public 5G. So, Eric, in your view in industry, do you see that the companies or organization using both of them in tandem, helping each other seamlessly moving from public to private, private to public, depending on how the use cases are, or you have seen those public is a different use cases and private having a different use cases?
Yeah, I guess, Manish, they would be different because I see the public networks 5G as more of a wide area network. So it would be WAN cellular. They cover the consumers, they're big towers, they cover a large area. WAN solution for the private network, local area network, as much more important enterprise. So think of a 2.5 mile by a 2.5 mile bubble over a certain area that the industry controls and never hits the public network. So it's been very important for operational technology of our customers because they don't like their information, data, or applications to hit the internet for mission critical stuff. So the private network gives them an opportunity for this to happen.
Got you. So tell me, some example or use case, right? Let's say what 4G can be solved with 5G.
Yeah, so as you move from the different standards, 4G to 5G, latency is a big issue. So you're starting to see applications like a robot arm moving that we've done for a company. We've moved a crane arm. It needed 2 to 3 millisecond communication. So that had to occur locally and it had to occur on the 5G network. So that's a 5G radio, a 5G core, and an application connected with fiber locally to make that occur. So you're looking at latency applications that are very important for that, as well as location-based. As we get into the 5G release 17, you're going to be able to do both indoor and outdoor locations down to 23 centimeters. So this is going to be great for all kinds of applications, especially in distribution warehouses where a robot has to pick something. He can't The normal, it might be within a couple feet in the past, same as with Wi-Fi. Now, once we're down to this 23 centimeters, you can do all kinds of interesting things. And they say IDC has a study out that the majority of applications, 50% or more, will need that low millisecond latency between the years 2022 and 2025. So you're going to see this take off even more because of those factors.
Got you. Okay, good to know that. And so, Eric, so how do you help your clients in this space? How you help them accelerate or implement the solutions to the clients?
Sure. So we initially have a point of view conversation so the clients understand it. We then move them to a demo where we pick some criteria that they want solved, and then we go from there. So in our point of view, the four main things that come up are connectivity. Do you have any connectivity problems in any of your locations anywhere? Almost always the answer is yes. Safety, is safety an issue for your workers? The answer is yes. How about security? With a private network, all the devices that attach to the network can be secured locally, and they never have to hit a public network through what's called a subscriber identification module, a SIM card like you would have in your cell phone or on a tablet. They're now moving to eSIMs. So it's a much more secure way to do things. And then the fourth thing that comes up is standardization. Most of the protocols for Wi-Fi and other kinds of wireless connectivity aren't standardized globally where cellular is. So that's an important factor for our enterprise customers. And at the end of the day, it's about increased productivity and decreased cost. Our initial implementation was just over a year ago. We had been working on it for 3 years, and the cost of a site moved 25% for the whole site. So that was an increase in worker and machine productivity, and then the cost for the technology that they were using before, a combination of the two. So the P&L owner of that site thought it was great. So it's pretty easy to prove after our initial POCs that they want to move their cost curve and do some neat things. We're also seeing wearables for safety in tough mission critical environments that can be used successfully with 5G because of the low latency.
All right, great. Good to know. So last question, Eric. If anyone wants to know more, I want to reach out to you, what's the best way for them?
They would go through our, we have specialty seller communities that are all trained in 5G on our team in the network and edge practice. I myself back all those people up. I have a 25-year plus cellular background experience. So I've deployed networks all over the US and the world, not for a telco carrier. So it's a lot of private networks, a lot of fixed wireless networks, as well as some of the big ones. So I support our sellers, specialty sellers in the space, as well as our client technical architects. And I work closely with our distinguished engineering teams to make sure these solutions fit with the customer needs.
Perfect. All right, Eric, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Manish.